In these gripping chapters of Grandmaster Arcanist, Volke and his companions navigate treacherous landscapes and escalating conflicts. The nightmare-fueling Charybdis creatures lurk in the shadows, Eldrin are lost, and Liet fights through unseen struggles. As leadership lessons unfold and rivalries heat up, new alliances and strategies emerge. Regal Heights becomes the stage for intense magical duels, whispers of greater battles to come, and a crucial meeting with the Kirin Arcanist herself. With mystery, action, and the weight of destiny pressing down, the stakes have never been higher. Join us as we go through chapters 6 through 10 of Grandmaster Arcanist.
Welcome back to the Frith Guild podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm co-host Scott.
And today we'll be going over chapters 6 through 10 of Grandmaster Arcanist. Sorry. Before we get into this week's chapters, we will also want to remind everybody the link for the Frith Chronicles Wiki is down below, along with the Capital Station Discord server. So if you want to go on over and join in on the fun over there. We also want to remind you, as we are getting closer to July 19th, that is important because we need to have our nominations in for Dragon Con for Shammy. So let's make sure she gets to there. And with that, we'll get into Chapter 6, Dark Underground. As we get into the basement of the jailhouse, we find out that pretty much the only prisoner that is there is not Vethica. Damn it.
So close.
I was reading as the Charybdis. Is that how you would say it?
I don't know how I would say it, honestly. I think I say it different every time. I look at it like Charybdis. I don't know. It's a lot of consonants.
Right. Either way. I suggest that if you don't want to have nightmare fuel, 1, don't read the description more than once, and 2, don't look up to see what a lamprey type mouth is, because I promise you, you don't want to know.
It's a no-no.
Just take that from us, okay? As we're fighting the Charybdis, we are realizing that this is a man-eater, but it's somehow afflicted by the plague. And Volke is definitely like, yeah, this is definitely not a normal Charybdis. As Volke starts slashing and going at this Charybdis with retribution, he gets like covered in all of the things that the Charybdis is covered in, or leaking essentially. And I feel like this is very Ghostbuster-esque of the slime monster.
Yeah, it feels gross.
So basically, in the attempt of covering and protecting everybody from everything leaking out of the Charybdis, Liet has to drop her shield, which makes her affected by the siren song from it, and she couldn't move out of the waiting time to not get bitten by the lamprey mouth, and it even goes through and damages her coat.
That's rude.
Exactly. Like, what the hell? So, thankfully, we do have a poison type amongst us because this thing is essentially and confirmed tier 4. It is a worm, basically, with just no arms, legs, or feet. Or wings. But again, thankfully, we have Hexa as a poison type because she is the super effective person against the Charybdis.
That brings us to Chapter 7, the Seaside Retreat. So as they venture deeper into the caves, there's no loot there. They do end up finding Vethica, though, but unfortunately, there's no Aket. There's just sand. So they would have to travel back to New Nora, release the sand to get Aket back. As they are regrouping, there are 3 more Charybdis that come out. Volke, now since is outside of the cavern, is able to use his magma, which thankfully is also very effective. So kills 2 really quickly with the magma, and then is able to trap the 3rd underground and squish it. So those 3... It's a gross couple of chapters, I will say that. They do also find out that there is a Calidris who was being used for parts, so is missing like eyes and other body parts. So you can tell that the Second Ascension was really just searching for any sort of healing type creature and just doing tests on it.
I think they also said that there's a golden stag as well, and that's also known for its healing abilities, missing its hooves, its horns. So in Chapter 8, Qualities of a Leader, Volke is kind of, I don't want to say he's wallowing, but he's definitely upset. Luther's not there. He missed the Second Ascension. They got away just in time. Terrakanna does give him that kind of, hey, you need to pat yourself on the back every once in a while and revel in your accomplishments, because it's a pretty significant one he did there. The distance they traveled and everything else. They still rescued Vethika, so we gotta take some positive here. All of a sudden, everything goes black, and we're expecting to see a pillar of light, but nothing happens.
That's undead.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. They determined that it must have been hella far away, and that probably more than likely is the endless undead. I thought it would have been the abyssal kraken, but I guess the endless undead definitely seems a little bit more logical to happen. They are on the road back, essentially, and Vethika is once again mortal. Not trying to be rude, but I feel like with Vethika, she's over 2 right now.
And Arquette did not last long. That was a short little bond there. I'm not sure how it works once he revives, if he just will rebond to her, or I don't know. It's strange because he can be resurrected.
There's so many questions I have that just popped in my mind that I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of. Anywho, I digress. As we were traveling back, basically, Volke is noticing that Liette is feeling sick. She's doing her best to put on a really good facade for everybody else. But it's kind of those moments of she doesn't think anybody's paying attention, or it's just her and Everett talking. She tends to let it slip a little bit here and there. As the weather gets worse and starting to rain, they decide to stop and make shelter. And they literally just make a shelter out of the ground, like a cave essentially.
So handy. It's storming, boom, shelter.
Right? How many times in Breath of the Wild has it started raining and you're like, I just want to wait it out, and you're trying to make a fire and it won't go, but I could have just made my own.
Yeah, make a cave.
I love that Volke even creates a table and chairs and board game, all with his manipulation, as if he's the Gargoyle Arcanist. And he creates the board game called Vanguard, which essentially is just trying to get all the marbles in the correct dots, or the correct divots, as in the proper order, as the way I interpreted the game. Zelfrey is so sourpuss about it. He's just like, I don't like this game. It's not good. And we have Liette just come back with well, you don't like it because you're not that good.
Yes, exactly.
It has no skill. It's just luck. Exactly. Just as a little bit of fun, Zelfrey bets that Liette will lose, and very befitting, everybody else makes sure that Liette wins. Purposely missing, should definitely made certain shots, but make sure that she wins. They never agreed upon a specific prize if Liette wins, so Zelfrey gives her a piece of string, followed by the quote, "Play stupid game, win stupid prizes."
It's just so Zelfrey. Here, have this string. You seem like a cat. Traces likes it. Yes. Wrong mimic. Traces likes it. We get to chapter 9, God Arcanist of Regal Heights. So they do make it back to Regal Heights. Of course, right away, Terrakanna goes and checks on the Dryads. Got to make sure they're doing. As we're coming up, we see Zaxxas and Linus are fighting, and knowing Zaxxas and Linus, Volke's like, I gotta go break this up right away. Luckily, when he rushes over there, they're just sparring. And Linus has pretty much already been able to evoke both his flames and hallucinations. And in addition to that, he even helped Zaxxas evoke illusions, which he wasn't able to do that before. So Linus has this understanding of magic on a deeper level than anybody else. He just understands how it works, how to manifest it, and he's almost ashamed of Zaxxas because he's like, it should take one day to learn how to do this, and you guys took months.
I mean, in all fairness, Linus has been a bonded Arcanist for probably centuries. I think is where we kind of determined centuries.
Yes.
So,
and also waiting for Volke to get back is Orwin.
That brings us into chapter 10, Orwin, the Kirin Arcanist. I guess the Typhon Beast kind of just doesn't like King Basilisks. Thor has been very adamant about not wanting to meet with Orwin because of Akiva. I can't blame him. I mean, King Basilisks are pretty much just death machines and other things that we don't need to worry about talking about. Xaxis does have a very solid point of view on how to control Akiva, basically saying that by controlling Orwin, he can control Akiva because Akiva sacrificed or tried to sacrifice himself for Orwin. So obviously there's a huge bond there. The other nice thing is we have a good way to hinder the Sky Titan, and we know how to at least slow it down, give it some pause. So again, we're definitely learning a lot and taking that into practical application. Now, as they're walking through Regal Heights, everybody is offering them food and this, that, and the other, especially because Linus tamed the Typhon Beast Zor, and he basically walks past them as if they didn't exist or they aren't offering him food or even acknowledging their existence. I think this isn't meant to be a cruel, him trying to be mean. I think this is him just not feeling that he deserves it.
Yeah, he doesn't want the attention. He didn't want to bond. Like, he doesn't feel like he's worthy of it. And I imagine even as Callisto, like, he was not relishing everyone loving him and looking up to him. It was very much like, you're gonna fear me and respect me. So he's never been in a situation where he has to kind of woo the crowd a little bit.
Now later on, once they get to the hotel that Orwin is staying at, Linus tries to give Xaxis some pointers about not using all of his effort all of the time, which you're a couple years late.
Everybody has tried to tell him this.
Right. And again, everybody's mentioned this before at some point or another, that Xaxis has zero finesse when it comes to anything. And I can understand what Xaxis is trying to do, always pushing the limits, but it's like riding a motorcycle. You can ride it easily. It's doing the fine movements, the turns, that kind of thing, evasion, that the finesse work that makes you a good rider. Orwin was kind of disappointed that Xaxis and Linus both show up along with Volke, because she essentially just wanted Volke, and she still just wants, and what she has to say is only to Volke. Not really sure why she's gonna be so adamant about that, because as soon as they're done with that conversation, he's gonna tell everybody else. I think this is more of a trust building exercise than anything, and everybody's talking about, well, where's Akiva at? Because we know he's probably around here somewhere. Volke does his tremor sense thing and is like, oh crap, if I wasn't deliberately looking for him, probably wouldn't have found him because of how calm and zero movement he's making and all that. So basically Volke's like, hey, keep an eye on Akiva while Orwin and I go talk. And that's where we end with chapter 10 today.
Can I just say that room has 4 God Arcanists in it at one point. The amount of magic that could have gotten thrown around if that went south is insane.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's probably the most dangerous room in the world at that point.
Like, I think they said that they needed 5. I think it was 5 God Arcanists in order to fundamentally change the world, right? Use their augmentation or their auras properly. So you got 4. Just need one more.
Just need one more.
Like, dang, that does.
So for the Typhon Beast is absolutely gargantuan. So it's a wingless dragon with 100 heads, with one being slightly larger and the other 99 being snake-like. Of course, similar to other hydras, massive legs, and the many heads kind of act independently of each other, so there's always some sort of kind of hissing and gnashing and mashing going around. For Trial of Worth, similar to the other ones, locating the red jasper runestone and then locating the lair, which spawns near rocky locations. Once you get through the lair, which typically involves fire and madness, the Typhon Beast would bond, and it will only bond with somebody who wants to redeem themselves and make right the wrongs of past. It is tier 5 and is a god creature, so it was born as part of the turning of the age. For evocation on the creation side is hallucinations, so evoke madness that affects people nearby. This is hallucinations that are catered to the individual based separately, and then the Arcanist is able to control these to some extent, so it can just allow it to be based off their imagination, or they can make it similar to a dream state. On the destruction side, they have Putrefying Flame, which is evoking flames that burn more wicked than the righteous, which is kind of cool. It's a judgmental flame. And if it is evoked enough, the Typhon Beast and the God Arcanist waft embers that glow brighter in the presence of liars and pretenders. So it is this cool, like, right-wrong portion to it. For manipulation, on the creation side, it can manipulate thoughts, so creatures around them. This includes how they feel, their perceptions of the world, and eventually convert enemies to their side if it's done long enough. On the destructive side, they're able to manipulate heat, so either strengthening fires or cooling them off. And this can impact the magic of other creatures who are fire-based. For augmentation, their creation side is ancient canyons, so they can augment rocky canyons to create nodes of magic that spawn mystical creatures. So if this is used on others, it grants them increased regeneration, immunity to fire, and immunity to emotion and mind-controlling abilities. On the destructive side is vast deserts, so they augment deserts to create nodes of magic that will spawn nightmarish creatures who are overcome with bloodlust, but this cannot actually be used on other people. They are able to imbue their magic into artifacts, and specifically their fang skills and tail hold potent magic. Their salvation aura on the creation side would help to cure the plague and other magics that are inflicted with illness, or they do also have the Armageddon plague, which corrupts magic in the world is destroyed and returns the land to a state of being before the corruption. They are innately immune to fire, emotion, or altering magics, corruption, and mind control. They don't need to breathe and do have an increased regeneration rate, and they can hear the deep desires of those around them. A little creepy.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit. And the Typhon Beast's heads are also venomous and can kill if a knife heads bite a single target. Their true form is Gaius-based, so they must kill at least one other god creature, and then all other god creatures must somehow die, with the Typhon Beast God Arcanist being the sole surviving God Arcanist, and therefore the last and final god. The true form appearance, it sheds the 99 heads and regrows another 99. Each of these is as large as the main head this time, and all are adorned with horns and spikes. So the body quadruples in size, and it spouts 2 more legs to hold the great weight of its many heads. Its true form ability is a multitude of multitudes. So after the 99 heads are shed, they grow into smaller duplicates of the Typhon Beast and act on their own, but they still do answer to the God Arcanist. They will travel to different corners of the world to carry out the will of the God Arcanist or to sleep. Either if the
army.
It is. That sleeps sometimes. If the original Typhon Beast is killed, then one of the other 99 smaller Typhon Beasts will regrow and become the primary. So you have to then kill 100 god creatures to essentially kill off the Typhon Beast. That's just like unreasonable. Like,
it's another Hercules trial.
It is.
Or labor, sorry.
And these are all at different corners of the world. So like you got to chase down where all these Typhon Beasts are. It is in world lore known as a raging monster that can't be controlled. It's the most feared of the god creatures and is supposed to be a form of pure chaos and destruction. The first individual that bonded with the Typhon Beast was Yama, who was later defeated by Luvi in the World Serpent. And when the god creature was reborn at the second coming of the age, it did become a god of redemption and rebirth. So it was originally known as the monster, but has since been renamed as the Savior. It is based on the Greek myth of Typhon, who's a serpentine giant that attempted to overthrow Zeus, was then cast down into Tartarus. Tales of redemption are sometimes included as part of this story. So it's massive and hard to kill.
Pretty much. Oh my gosh. Like, again, imagine having to find all 199 of them.
It's insane.
Like, even with the occult compass and the Korok mask,
doesn't matter.
It would take forever.
Yeah.
With that, we do want to end today's episode. I do want to make a special shout out and thank you to everybody that listens, because we have actually hit over 2,000 downloads with this podcast when we were recording. So thank you so much. Cannot thank you enough. Appreciate the support that everybody's given us, and we definitely enjoyed doing this. We definitely enjoyed keep doing it, and we're looking forward to the rest of the books. Just wanted to make a quick mention that we hit over 2,000. So thank you guys so much. And with that, we'll end today's episode. Scott, did you have anything else you wanted to add today?
No, just a big thank you to all our loyal listeners.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.